Before settling down to watch the Paris Olympic opening ceremony on 26 July 2024, I took a look at the video Pythian Countdown to Release of Apollyon, Archaix's Analysis of 2012 Olympic Ceremony on YouTube. A comment I made on a couple of silly moments in the video attracted a direct response from Jason containing the phrase, "little details are meaningless," to which I replied that little details are what lead to disasters. Jason's attitude has led him to misrepresent reality again and again, typically by failing to supply context for statements with verifiable evidence. Here's an example based on information supplied to him by a long-time viewer. At 1 hour 5 minutes in, he shows an official Olympic web page and says, Olympics.com is stressing the number 138. They could have used another number. They could have said over 130 miles. They could have said 139 miles, 140 miles. Instead, they said 138 miles. That ties in with the supposed 138-year Phoenix cycle, which is a key feature of the Archaix chronology, but it misses important context. For a start, the reason for the precision is that the press releases for each day of the 2012 torch relay included the distance travelled, usually to the nearest tenth of a mile. It's relevant that they also stated the number of torch carriers for the day. There was a deliberate numerology to the 2012 torch relay, as a nod to the Chinese lucky number 8, which featured heavily in the Beijing Olympics 4 years earlier. The torch, perforated with 8,000 small holes, travelled 8,000 miles, carried by 8,000 people. The relay lasted 10 weeks, meaning that each day, on average, it travelled around 114 miles and, on average, was carried by about 114 different people. Given the complexities of British topography and population density, there were wide variations from the average. Over much of the route through Scotland, beginning on day 21, Friday the 8th of June, the daily distances were significantly higher than 114 miles. 138.4 on that day, 169.0 the next, only 29.7 on day 23 visiting isolated islands, 138.2 on day 24, Monday the 11th of June, 132.6 on day 25, and so on. Similarly, the variations around the average meant that over the whole 10 weeks there was a fairly high probability that on occasion there would be 138 torchbearers in a day. That was the case on day 49, when John Bowman was the last torchbearer on the 117-mile route and lit the small cauldron at Chelmsford in which the flame was preserved overnight, as it was every other night. There was nothing special about the number 138 in the 2012 Olympic torch relay, just a failure by Archaix to consider context. When anybody tells you something unexpectedly extraordinary, always think about what they may not have mentioned.